Hey guys, this is Colby. Today I'm going to show you how to model this top antenna piece for the helmets, these little side cylinders for the ears and one for the back, which these are pretty easy. And also how to do the visor as well, and how to give it like a color, like a black shiny texture, like this. It looks pretty good so far, but that's all we're going to be doing today, so let's get started. So before we get started, if you haven't already added some thickness to your helmets, you can do that with the solidify modifier, which is a good way to do that pretty quickly. But sometimes it doesn't really work too well. When I add the solidify here, around, around this area, it starts to kind of puff up a little bit, which looks kind of strange, or it'll start to like clip through itself. So instead of adding a solidify, you can actually just go into edit mode, select everything, press 3 on your keyboard, and go in face mode, and press E to extrude, and press S to scale downward, which I've already done that. But all it does is basically just add a layer of thickness to every face, so like it's very even and it doesn't like mess up. So that's another way to add thickness. So I'm gonna start off with the easy parts. So the cylinders here on the ear, pretty easy. Just shift right click on the point where you want to spawn a cylinder, shift A, mesh, cylinder, scale it down a bit, rotate it on the y-axis, so RY90, or just get it to face basically like that way. We're gonna scale it down a little bit on the x-axis here to make it skinnier. We'll go to front view, kind of like rotate it. But before rotate it, I'm actually just gonna select this face here, press E to extrude outward, scale it down a tiny bit. Let's go back into object mode and right click and shade smooth. And let's add some edge loops to sharpen these little corners here. And one here as well. Just add wherever you want them. So that looks pretty nice, pretty clean. So now let's go to front view and let's rotate it to match the reference right about there. Looks good. We go to side view, kind of see. Let's match the reference again. And to mirror across to the other side, let's add a mirror modifier, set the mirror object as the helmet itself. So there it is. So now let's add a cylinder to the back of the head right here, because that's where it is on the reference. It's a pretty big cylinder. So instead of pressing shift right click, I'm actually just going to edit mode on the helmet and just kind of select these two here, these two edges, and then shift S, and then cursor to selected. So that way it's a more perfect center. Now we can press shift A once we're in object mode, create another cylinder, or you can duplicate this one, it's faster. You just got to turn off the mirror modifier. Let's move it to the position that we have on the cursor. So press shift S again, and then selection to cursor. Let's press alt R to rotate it, reset rotation. And then let's rotate it on x-axis like 90 degrees. And so it's actually like facing that way, so we need to rotate it all the way around. So RZ, then 180 degrees. Let's go to our reference, scale it up a bit and make it match. And just rotate it. And there we go. It's a pretty big cylinder. So now we're ready to start on the antenna, which is the harder part, but it's not that much harder. So let's go into edit mode on this piece here, the helmets. I'm going to shift S and set the cursor to selected right here. Create a cube, shift A cube, scale it down a bit. You can cut it in half and mirror it if you want, but I don't really think that's necessary. We can just do this pretty much from side view completely. So let's make it skinnier to match it from front view. Move it up right here. And so from here, we can pretty much just work completely from side, because it's just one like flat piece, very straight. Go into edit mode. I'm going to wireframe mode. So press Z and then like go to wireframe, or you can just click right here. Just match the reference. Let's just extrude, press E to extrude, scale it down a little bit. On Z axis, don't scale it down all the whole thing. Just scale down on a specific axis. Because if you scale it up or down all the way, it'll basically make it fatter and like skinnier. So we don't want that. We just want to keep it just only affect it on the Z axis, which is the height. Press E to extrude again, move down here. Let's go to this set and let's extrude this way. We'll drag this set of vertices right here. Let's create an edge loop right here and grab these two sets of vertices. So press C to just like select multiple. And let's extrude downward to match the reference. So this side doesn't really matter, but this side does. That's the parts that's visible. Let's add a curve right here. And one right here as well. Another edge loop. Move it right there. So there we go, we're almost done. We just need to add a couple modifiers. So I'm gonna add the subdivision. And let's sharpen some things up, make it look nicer and sharper. So around this area, this should be sharp. This should be sharp. And let's make it this one. Actually, that one shouldn't really be too sharp, but pretty good so far. I could say we're done. So we've gotten past most of the hard stuff and we're almost done with the whole video. Now we just need to make the visor and add a texture to it. So I'm gonna go onto the helmet, go into edit mode. I'm going to hold down Shift, Alt, in edge mode, and select this set of edges here. And we're going to separate it from the whole helmets and work with it independently. So I'm going to press Shift D to duplicate and press P to separate by selection. And so it's going back into object mode and we can go back onto this set of edges here. Now it's separate. Let's go into edit mode and let's start adding some faces. So we have a lot of unnecessary vertices, like you can tell here. If we go into vertice mode and we just kind of see all the vertices that are here along the edges, we can get quite a bit of them without affecting it too much. So I'm just go through. Before I do that though, I'm actually like mirror this whole thing just makes it a little bit easier. So let's delete half and select half of it. Let's delete those vertices. Let's add a mirror modifier. Turn on clipping. That should make it a little bit easier. Save us some time. So let's shade it smooth. Go back into object mode and shade smooth on this piece, the visor. That's how it looks when it's flat. That's how it looks when it's smooth. You can see here, there's some vertices that are kind of like not really even. Like this face here sort of like curves when it's supposed to kind of match this like cheek section here. So I might edit the position of some of these pieces. Just grab these edges and just kind of move them along. Just make this a bit more even. Looks a little better. And it's done. There we go. So now we're ready to add the texture to this piece, just as long as it looks good and smooth. scale it up if you need to help it like kind of clip through this part. All right, so once you have your visor and it looks all smooth and nice, we can just go ahead and finish off the video and add a texture to the visor itself. So add a new texture to it if you haven't already. I'm gonna name this one Visor. And we're gonna set the color to black. It's a little bit rough right now, but we can turn down the roughness, make it shinier. That looks pretty good so far. So the section here is kind of flat. You can move it up a little bit. That looks a little bit better. Your reflections on your textures and all that on your objects kind of like indicate how your topology looks and how good it is. If it's like a nice smooth surface and there's no like a weird distortions, then it's good. So now we're ready to apply our modifiers. And that'll be pretty much the end of the video. So press apply on everything. Apply your mirror modifiers on your cylinders or your subdivision, whichever one. Let's join everything together. So you can press A and then press Control J to join everything together, but I'm just going to select them manually. Press Control J. So here we can kind of see some shading problems with the helmet. That's fine, we can fix that very easily. So just add 2 edge loops, one right here and one on the inside. And that'll sharpen that up, look nice. And there we go. Alright guys, that's the end of this video. If you have any questions, just leave a comment down below. I'll try to answer them. And let me know if y'all want to see a texturing video on how to basically add like fingerprints on the visor and like scratches and dark areas on the helmet. Or if you'd rather see how to make a walking cycle for a soldier and how to potentially make crowds of soldiers inside formation. Just let me know next week and I'll try to get that done. But anyways, I hope y'all guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys next time.